Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. As we're here with the PWU Unlimited podcast, we're going to try and make this a little more regular of a thing. I know Nick and I were doing it, and then Nick got busy with his new job, but we got someone else with us here. It's Baby Huey of In the Click. What's going on, bud?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good.
Awesome. I'm so excited to be back with you. I know it's been a minute since you and I have recorded together, but
Right.
I'm very excited to be doing this with you. And hopefully, this could be kind of a cool regular thing between the two of us. And,
Oh, yeah.
I respect everything you do. You're a one-man wrecking crew when it comes to the pro wrestling journalism, commentary, podcasting, YouTube world out there. So, like I said, I respect everything you do. So, anytime I have a chance to work with you, I'm always down for.
I try, and like I said, like I've told you, get stuff on your channel as well, up on your stuff.
Yeah.
Work together, grow both of our platforms and see where we can take it. But speaking of growing your platform, you were in Vegas this past weekend. I know you'll probably tell the whole story on your show, which we'll save it for there, but give me a quick little minute or two rundown of how that weekend went in Vegas for not only just going to SummerSlam, but covering SummerSlam as WWE media.
Yeah, dude, that was so much fun. It was definitely a last minute decision to go out there, but WWE hit me up and said, hey, we got this big press junket, SummerSlam press junket happening the day before, the Friday before SummerSlam. And they're like, hey, you want to come out and interview a bunch of WWE superstars? I'm like, hell yeah, man. So I flew out there and went to the actual press junket. And it was very cool. And keep in mind, this was my first time covering a big WWE show.
Right.
In almost 2.5 years. I think the last one I did was 2019 WrestleMania 35 out in New York. So obviously with the pandemic and the whole world shutting down, it's been a minute since I've gone out and done some things. So went out there. I was by myself, but nonetheless, set up in this big conference room, all these other media outlets there. I saw all the big heavy hitters from the pro wrestling, journalism, podcasting world out there. And, little old me, I felt like kind of like the new kid in school because, I've done big WWE shows before. I did Radio Row when they were in Santa Clara here in the Bay Area where I'm based out of. I did Radio Row in New Orleans for WrestleMania a couple years ago. But it went to, New York, like I said. So, but nonetheless, it was a different experience because I was around a lot of just radio people. So this time around to be surrounded, like I said, some of the top pro wrestling journalists and hosts out there, personalities, it was different. Like I said, it was like I felt like a new kid in school. I was very shy, but I did my best to like introduce and meet fellow people who I big fans of their work, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, for the actual press junket, it was great. Let's see, it was I had Jimmy Hart out there, Nikki ASH, Jinder Mahal, Sheamus, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Doudrop, Ted DiBiase. So I did all those interviews. So if you subscribe to In the Click on wherever podcast platform, you can listen to all those interviews right now. But it was just a really fun experience. So thank you, WWE, for hooking it up, taking care of me. And but it was just cool to talk to everyone. And here's the thing, it's a little nerve-wracking because you don't know who you're interviewing. So
Right.
for me, I did my best to just, I watch all the wrestling shows every week, but make sure I was on top of everything, what the current storylines are, and kind of just have some general questions built in my head already. But then like very last minute, they tell you who's coming in. We played it safe. They asked us to wear our mask the whole time. So I was a little self-conscious. I'm talking to people with a mask on. So I was like, oh, is my voice being muffled? I got to project louder. But nonetheless, all the WWE superstars were awesome. I mean, big highlight was finally meeting Drew McIntyre in person because
Here's good luck charm.
Exactly. We talked to each other like probably 6-7 times in the last year and a half, but to finally meet in person, it was always done before on the phone and one time on Zoom. But it was cool to meet him in person. And to his credit, he stayed to the very end and talked to all the outlets.
Nice.
And he was so nice and just a great dude. Sheamus, awesome, great guy as well. Bobby Lashley was in there, but he was busy doing press all morning since he is WWE champion. He's the man. But he popped in for a few interviews with some other people. And then, going to Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, the new home of the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's kind of weird. I mean, I'm a Niners fan, but I live here in Alameda, next to Oakland, which was the home of the Raiders, and
Right? Yeah.
so it was kind of weird because I know like a lot of my friends are Raider fans, so to be in the stadium where they're at, it was kind of bittersweet. It felt bad for them. Like, yeah, they moved here, they left you twice now. um, but no, but Allegiant Stadium, very cool, very sleek stadium. I didn't have really a chance to go explore because when we went in, they take you right up to the press box and they ask you just please stay in there, not to go roaming around stuff. So, I respected that. And had some nice food in there in the press box, watched the show, did some live tweeting. But the stadium is really nice, clean, sleek, and it's got air conditioning, thank God. And no, but it was a lot of fun. The show itself, I mean, I know you did a review already. It was a lot of fun to experience it in person. Kind of interesting with no pyro. That was interesting, and the ramp
Well,
was different.
apparently the building said no pyro. It was not. It was the decision by the building. They said no pyro.
Yeah. So, which is fine. I
Yeah,
still
that's
enjoyed
fine.
it. And but what an epic show as far as Becky Lynch returns, Brock Lesnar returns, seeing John Cena wrestle in person again. It was a very fun show, and it was just a lot of fun. And they already announced they're coming back next July, 4th of July weekend for Money in
Yep.
Money in the Bank, which is cool. Like they're turning Money in the Bank into like I know we have the original Big Four pay-per-views:
Mhm.
Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. But Money in the Bank in recent years has become like their fifth biggest show, and it's cool. They're taking it to football stadiums now.
Some
it
may
looks
say
like,
now Money in the Bank's bigger than Survivor Series.
which I kind of agree with. No offense, Survivor Series. I
Right.
love Survivor Series. I grew up watching it, but Survivor Series has more or less become like one big all-star game, an exhibition. It's brand
Exactly.
versus brand, no major stakes involved, but that's a whole nother topic discussion. But nonetheless, super fun. Thank you, WWE, the PR team, top notch, so much fun, and looking forward to doing more stuff with them. Fingers crossed, start saving up and planning for Dallas next year for
Right.
WrestleMania, and then maybe next July as well for Money in the Bank. And I would like to go to maybe Double or Nothing in Las Vegas because it's a quick flight from here in the Bay Area. But no, Tim, you definitely got to come with me on these. We got to plan it out for some of these
Right.
road trips. Get
So
you out there as well.
here's my question: did you get the swag bag all these others were showing off online?
Oh, yes, I did. I have it downstairs. I should have brought it up here. But
It's all
yes, all
good.
those. I same exact thing. It was swag bag. It had a hat in there, SummerSlam hat. We got the program. We got the WWE mask, and what else was in there? Oh, T-shirt. Unfortunately, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4". The shirt is always a large, so it never fits me. So I gave one to my buddy of mine. He was out
Nice.
there, Brian from Within the Ropes. He was out there with his family, and so I gave the shirt to his son. It can fit him. He can wear it to school. So
That's cool.
But anyway, so much fun. Looking forward to the next show. So thank you, WWE, for everything.
But that sounds all fun and everything, and hopefully we can do something like you said together. Go to a show,
Yeah.
whether that's WWE or AEW or something
Yep.
or other. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing a lot of advertisements for Bay Area shows coming back recently, like coming back soon.
Yeah, so actually, I went to Guns N' Roses last night at the SAP Center in San Jose, and all over, they have rotation on the different screens of upcoming events.
Okay.
Boom, I saw SmackDown being advertised. So that's coming in October, I believe. And so I was like, oh, cool, because I know Raw was already announced for Sacramento in October. So I don't know if all the dates have been announced yet, but so I'm like, okay, cool. The Bay Area is going to get some love from WWE as well. So I don't know if it's officially all been announced yet, but I mean, I saw the sign last night at SAP
Yeah,
Center. So
exactly.
they're already starting the early advertising for it. But I'm excited for that because, WWE comes to the Bay Area. Hopefully, could do some fun stuff with them when they come through.
Well, I mean, indie shows as well. I'm pretty sure I can double check it. Suzuki's going to be at a Bay Area indie show in November. I want to say it is. It might be
West Coast Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, that's
West Coast Pro Wrestling. I love those guys. What's up, Scott? Great owner for West Coast Pro Wrestling. But yeah, their big third anniversary show, and it's going to be Friday, October 8th.
Well, it's October. Okay.
Yeah, and he's taking on Daniel Garcia, who we've seen tear it up in AEW as of late. He's been doing some things with 2.0, and he attacked. Let's see, was it last on Dynamite last night? He jumped
Yeah.
in and did he
Went
attack
after
Darby Allin
Darby.
last?
Yeah, went after
Yeah,
Darby.
yeah, yeah. So, West Coast Pro Wrestling, get their tickets over at Eventbrite. I
I
got
don't.
my tickets for next show in September.
Okay.
That's gonna be, so Trey Miguel is gonna be out there, doing like a new version of the Little Rascals with is it Myron Reed right from MLW, I
I
believe.
think so.
They're doing like their own version of the Little Rascals, or the no, is it Little
The
Rascals,
Rascals, I think is what they
the
call them.
Rascals,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I'm a little bummed. I cannot go to that show in October. It's October 8th, and I'm gonna be in Sacramento for the big Aftershock Festival with
Oh, nice.
Metallica. So I'm like, oh, when I saw the date, I was so bummed because how awesome would it be to see the legend, in
I
person.
know. I
But
sent Nick the link because I'm like, hey, Suzuki, West Coast Pro. He's like, what?
yeah,
So he's like, 2 minutes later, sends me a thing, goes, I got 2 tickets, and then I see the text message that says general admission going really fast. It said on the
yeah.
tweet.
Um, I really want to go, but like I said, it's tough because I'll be in Sacramento already. I have a hotel
Right.
already booked and everything. I'm like, oh man. Everyone's probably expecting me to be out there, but I guess I'm breaking the unfortunate news right now. I cannot be out there. I got Metallica duties that day. So,
Right.
but no, West Coast Pro Wrestling. They almost 3 years now, an amazing independent promotion in the Bay Area, Northern California. I know they're really trying their best to kind of, I mean, loosely, make the comparison of like a PWG of Northern California.
That'd be cool.
All Pro Wrestling APW has been one of the, if not the top
Yes.
independent promotion here in the Bay Area. They have not brought back shows yet. Hopefully, they'll start doing shows again in the near future. That nothing's been announced yet. But West Coast Pro Wrestling in recent years, they bring in some of the biggest indie names. Alex Hammerstone from MLW is their current West Coast Pro Wrestling champion.
Mhm.
But dude, they bring some top indie stars. Their shows are incredible. You can watch the last 3 episodes they've done on Independent Wrestling TV or
Yeah, IWTV.
IWTV. Yeah, so check them out. Follow them on social media.
That I know, as far as Bay Area goes, Big Time's coming back too. Big Time Wrestling.
So they had Big Time Wrestling just had a show come back. Their first one a few weeks ago. It was an outdoor show. I believe Chris Masters, or excuse me, Chris Adonis, that's his outside WWE name. He wrestled that. I did not make that show, unfortunately. I had other plans. And then here in the Bay Area, we got a couple other good promotions. East Bay Pro Wrestling. They're a wrestling school, but they do shows as well. They're a lot of fun. They have a show going on this Saturday, I believe. So if you follow them, and that's the thing, any of these independent wrestling promotions we're talking about, please follow them on social media for the latest event news, links to buy tickets, the flyers,
stream their shows and stuff.
Yeah, their matches. There's a lot of great talent out here. Who I miss? Oh, Ugwa out here in San Jose as well. Underground. Oh my God, I don't want to mispronounce it. Let me just double check. Ugwa. Underground Wrestling Alliance. So they're based out of San Jose.
Okay.
They perform out of the Ritz in San Jose. So it's got a cool indoor vibe.
Nice.
I went to their outdoor shows, a couple of them last couple months. But dude, the Bay Area, man, is really booming right now with independent wrestling shows. These shows, everyone's been wearing masks and being very safe out there. So kudos to everyone with that part of it all. But listen, I know like Southern California gets a lot of love with independent wrestling. PWG, obviously they've been a staple for all that stuff. But the Bay Area, Northern California has really been on the up in recent years. A lot of talented people you see on AEW or NXT have roots here in the Bay Area.
Bailey, she started with Big Time Wrestling.
Exactly. Bailey, but Shotzi Blackheart is from the Bay Area originally. Jake Atlas, he's from Southern California, but he was a champion up here.
Same with Jungle Boy. He did a lot of stuff in the Bay Area up there in Northern California.
Jungle Boy, yeah, he wrestled a lot for All Pro Wrestling
Yes.
and Pro Wrestling Revolution. That's another promotion out here you just made me think of. There's so many. So I'll try my best to, promote these shows as well. But there's a lot of talented people that come through here. Will Hobbs is from the Bay Area. He's from East Palo Alto.
Yep.
And I got more names I think about, but a lot of great talented people out here. So don't sleep on the Bay Area, man. It's on
Very
the up.
true.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
remember back in the day, the Bay Area, San Francisco was one of the biggest markets for pro wrestling back in the Patterson Stevens days.
Absolutely. I mean, growing up, my dad would always tell me just about all the great wrestlers he used to see and coming through here. And then my first wrestling show, my parents took my brother and I to the Cow Palace.
I was about to say the heydays of the Cow Palace.
It was the dark matches, dark show. Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, that was awesome. So a lot of good memories of the Cow Palace. Anytime I can go there for wrestling, it's always worth it.
Oh yeah, remember going to the New Japan show, the Cow Palace? That was a fun one.
Oh man, I wish they'd come back up here. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
New Japan's going to San Jose.
Yes, I saw that in November.
Right.
Actually, maybe that's something you and I should try to do. I'm just speaking out loud right now, thinking out loud, I should say. Yeah, that's something we should try to work on. Okay, well, we can touch base after about that. But but the other thing too is, listen, AEW, they've been doing a lot of stuff in the South or in the Midwest or Northeast. I would love to see them come out.
Yeah, when are they gonna come more west than Texas?
Exactly. And I'm trying to think, where could they go in the Bay Area? Because I know Cow Palace jumps to mind because Cody's wrestled here, when he was doing the indie stuff.
True, but what I've heard of the Cow Palace is their infrastructure for television stuff isn't quite up to par what it should be, what it would need to be. That's why WWE hasn't ran the Cow Palace since 2004 when Eddie Guerrero won the championship there.
So Eddie Guerrero was the last big thing they had there.
Yeah.
And that was 2004. I think the event center on San Jose State's campus, that's where NXT has done a lot of ran there. I don't know size wise if that fits.
I still say that they need to bring Royal Rumble to Oracle Park. How great would it be looking out into the bay? Watching Royal Rumble looking out in the bay. That'd be great.
Absolutely. The only concern is, is January, so weather might be a little bit of an issue in San Francisco. But here's the thing: if they're doing SummerSlam, in football stadiums now, it's let's go to Levi Stadium, baby. Santa Clara would be awesome out there. So if they're doing more of these Big 4 or Big 5 pay-per-views in football or baseball stadiums, that I think hopefully opens up the Bay Area as more of a destination spot.
Exactly.
And then they can do Raw or SmackDown from SAP Center or Oakland Arena or Chase Center in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of options now. So, hopefully things, keep opening back up and we can get more love from the pro wrestling world.
But I've been saying for a while, if they're going to run baseball fields, how cool would it be to be looking out at the bay for a Royal Rumble thing? That would be so cool if they film it right. The way, I don't know how they would set the camera up, but that'd be really cool.
Maybe, okay, because we know Baron Corbin, let's see, last year's Money in the Bank went on the rooftop of WWE's building. He threw Aleister Black, Rey Mysterio off. Why would he throws someone in the bay or something like that in the water? Or, maybe they could do some goofy stuff like someone jumps in the water. I mean, there's been plenty of people who jump in there catching home run balls.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, that it would be a very fun, I think, site to do some fun stuff at. I'm all for it. So yeah, WWE, call me if you need some advice or location suggestions. I got you.
So speaking of WWE, we talked about SummerSlam, but two names come to mind when we think of SummerSlam this year. It was Brock Lesnar and Becky Lynch. They made their big returns. Becky Lynch. Now, there's a lot of conflicting reports on Becky Lynch and her involvement with SummerSlam. How long did they know? When did they call Becky? Did they set this up last minute? What was all this for? And what we've heard so far is that, so not the Friday before SummerSlam, which would have been the day before, but the previous Friday, which would have been the 13th. Sasha was on the show. Everything was fine. Then they go to that next weekend. All of a sudden, Sasha, Bianca, they're not on any of the house shows. We don't know what's going on. rumors are that, they're both not cleared, but then we hear Bianca's cleared. Maybe they're both cleared. Sasha's not cleared, this and that. And so from what is being reported, WWE maybe had like a week, if that, to figure out what they're going to do with Bianca at SummerSlam. Are they going to bring in somebody else? Is it just going to be Carmella? They called Becky. They got Becky. And Becky, it was apparently her idea to be a heel. She's the one that said, I want to come back as a heel. Is it the right move? I don't know. Because they tried it before at a SummerSlam. And the crowd was just like, no, 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 no. We don't want that. So, I mean, I think because she was gone, she may be able to make it work. Kind of like when Seth was gone from the knee injury and then came back and played it up like, I'm going to be a babyface. And you guys were all behind me. You sent me messages while I was in the hospital. But I don't care about any of that because no one came and da-da-da. So I think she can do that kind of a thing, kind of like Seth did, where, yeah, I saw all your messages, but what does it really matter when I'm all by myself anyways? But it was her idea, they say.
Yeah. And I know Vince ultimately probably is the one who finalized or,
he wanted to do it like 3 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing I was thinking about this is like, okay, when this happened or the reports are it's Becky's idea, I mean, maybe her or someone got in her head and said, look at Roman. Look what's happened to Roman. He turned heel, and he's now the hottest thing in pro wrestling right now, or sports entertainment.
Look at Seth. He's doing great as a heel, the drip king or whatever you want, drip god.
Yeah, so maybe, collectively they saw what was going on, and it was like, oh, I guess it's really cool to be a heel right now, and you should do it too. Or Becky's like, I'm gonna do that too.
Right.
But I'm not for that. I mean, we'll watch SmackDown. I'm sure she's gonna address the WWE universe and explain herself, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more, on kayfabe reasoning why she is going down this route. But I really think this is a bad decision overall because you hurt Bianca Belair. I mean, I'm sure you already talked about planning with SummerSlam. Like, she's a natural babyface who got over.
Oh, yeah.
And you just squashed her completely. And then Becky, who is naturally over as
Becky
the top.
may have been, before she left, the most popular person in that company, male or female.
Exactly. And regardless, babyface heel, the crowd loves her. And so it's going to be really hard to make her a heel and the crowd boo for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
very much so.
Yeah. Unless she goes out there and says, like, cusses everyone out or something, they're going to cheer for her no matter what. So it's really a tall task to go out there and be a heel when everyone loves you no matter what. So I feel almost it's a double whammy here as far as you hurt Bianca Belair and you're going to try to force someone to be a heel when the crowd loves her no matter what. So it's like it's a double negative in this situation. And so that's why I'm like, I mean, I would love, one day if Becky does a shoot interview or something, explains her decision.
Right.
But, from a creative standpoint, it doesn't make sense. I have a feeling it's not going to work. And, we'll see how this plans out. You always want to be optimistic and let's see how it goes. But I think just the immediate reaction and you see the criticism online, I think they kind of shoot themselves in the foot here. So
my thought process is, unless they're pairing her with Seth, why go heel? If she's going to be with Seth, then it makes complete sense. But if she's just going to be by herself, if it's just the man, Becky Lynch, I'm coming back, I've gave birth to a kid, and I'm in better shape than I was before, and this and that, But it's like, if she's not paired with Seth, why go the heel route? What are they really? I mean, WWE already has trouble with baby faces anyway. It's like, on the SmackDown brand itself, Bianca's like the only babyface female they have. I mean, they've got, on the SmackDown brand, I think they've got Bianca, Liv, Shotzi, and Nox as their baby faces. I guess you could say Natty and Tamina, but they're the champs, so they float back and forth, whatever. But I think they need, and and it could have also been a thing of, look how big Bianca's gotten over as a baby face. If Sasha's going to be gone for however long she's going to be gone, we need a foe for her. Maybe that was the issue. They needed somebody to go against Bianca, and they won't do babyface.
I mean, okay, we don't know what Sasha Banks.
Correct, and I'm not going to speculate on that for sure.
No one knows. I mean, no one knows. and how long she's gone for. So I'm sure they're kind of scrambling, trying to figure out, okay, how do we figure this out? So Sasha's gone, unknown. Bailey's gone, obviously with her injury. Hopefully she'll be back, early next year.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. So at this point, though, yeah, they are kind of thin from a heel standpoint, from a strong heel.
From a strong heel, yes, because they've got Carmella, they've got Zelina Vega, but it's like, meh.
They're like mid card of the women's division, if you want to kind of power rank, their position on the roster. So I don't know, like I mean, I guess, man, if they want Bianca, Becky right now, but I mean, I don't know, maybe Becky takes on someone else in the meantime, and you rebuild Bianca on a separate storyline. Yeah.
If you don't have Sasha, and you still wanted to push Bianca hard, even though they kind of killed any momentum she had, you got to think about it of, well, no one's going to care if she takes on Zelina. No one's going to care if she takes on Carmella. Yeah, we bring in Becky. They could have easily done Becky, Bianca, babyface, but this company just doesn't want to do that. And it would have gotten over tremendously. I think the fans would have, because of who it is, the fans would have respected those matches and not like dogged on them on someone's got to get booed. You know what I mean? It's Becky making her big return. It's Bianca Belair, who everyone's been getting behind, but it's just like, now Becky's a heel. I think she's going to kill it. I think she's going to kill it just like Bayley killed it when they turned her heel. But why? Why do it is the question. And like you said, hopefully we get some kayfabe answer tomorrow on SmackDown.
I mean, I was trying to think about it, and WWE is very traditional. They want a babyface versus a heel, and I like that as far as my main storyline or how I get emotionally involved in a storyline. But in this situation, Becky is the most over person, arguably, as you said, on that roster. So why force her into something that people are not going to probably gravitate towards or really pick up on? And if anything, hopefully it doesn't hurt her momentum that she has had or coming back now. And there are, listen, if you don't have a strong heel in the main event scene, it's every once in a while it is okay to have babyface versus babyface, because just from a competitive standpoint, we'll dig it, and if it's good creative behind it that tells a good compelling story. I mean, Becky could say, listen, before I left and became a mom, I had to vacate my title. I want to get back a title. Which the other thing too, are they going to explain why she went to SmackDown? Because she's last seen on Raw, giving the title to Asuka. I mean, no, like,
they could just say she went undrafted in the last year's draft. She could show up anywhere she wants.
Exactly.
Easy answer.
Give us that one sentence.
I doubt they'll say it, but it's the easy explanation.
Exactly. Give us that one explanation. So yeah, she could say she had to vacate her last title reign. She wants another title back, and she's like, listen, I've been watching you from home. I respect everything you do. I want a challenge. Like, boom, it writes itself. Keep it simple. Yeah, you got two baby faces. They'll both draw, but at the same time, it is frustrating because it's like, oh. And what is Becky going to say that's going to get people to boo her? Like I said earlier, unless she goes out there and says something vulgar or cussing.
Well, I'm trying to remember what Seth said, because I remember Seth's promo after Money in the Bank when he came back in 2016, and he did the whole thing where he was like, I got all your messages and your letters when I was at home and in the hospital having knee surgery and this and that. And then he turned it, and I can't remember exactly what it was that he said, that he was I don't care about you because you guys really didn't care about me or something like that.
Well, it was the knee, right? And he said, I couldn't carry the weight of the company anymore. My knee just buckled.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So maybe Becky, I mean, I don't know. I mean, she already has that Austin persona vibe around her. So unless she's going to say something, I mean, yeah, maybe she doesn't trust it. I don't know. Like, I'm so confused. I mean, it's. I
mean, speaking of Austin, I mean, not to make a 20-year comparison here, Stone Cold Steve Austin, when he turned to heel WrestleMania 17 and aligned to Vince McMahon, that was his idea. Now he'll say every day, worst decision I ever made in my career.
Exactly.
And I don't think that's going to be the same thing for Becky, but because I think nowadays they're a little more adept to, I guess you could say, what's the word I'm looking for? Not swerve, but I guess you could change on a dime. There's a word I'm.
Well, I was just
I
gonna
guess
say this. So
adapt.
hopefully, okay, this happened last Saturday. It's Friday's coming up. Hopefully, in the last 6 days or whatever, hopefully maybe Becky or creative scenes just the
Well,
outcry that maybe they're like, oh crap, I think we did something wrong here. Let's back off on this.
well,
Becky,
maybe
just
not.
go out there and be a good guy again. A
Maybe
good,
not. Maybe let it play out for like one little run to the next pay-per-view. Give it a 4-week thing. See how it goes. If it doesn't go well, then you turn her babyface. Maybe you at least give it a little bit of a breathing room and say, hey, can she do it? Because maybe she turns into Bayley, where you think Bayley's the greatest babyface ever, and she can never play a heel. Oh my God, Bayley's one of the best heels they had in all of 2020.
Yeah. Because I was going to think about Austin was, I mean, he's talked about many times on his podcast, and I was at Silicon Valley Comic-Con a couple years ago where Austin spoke, and and he explained, at the time his decision, he was running hard, and everyone who knows Austin knows that story where he was running hard. He felt like he was kind of doing the same thing over and over, and he felt he was due for a change. That's why he's like want to do heel. But now looking back on hindsight, he regrets it. And if he had to do it again, he would have called it audible and told Vince to look for the stunner and just stun him and call it a day and just keep the momentum going. So, I mean, maybe with Becky, same thing. Maybe they'll test it out. And then maybe in the near future, she can do swerve. Yeah.
So that's the thing with Becky. It's like, can she? I think she can make it. I think Becky can go out there and have an attitude about her where she craps on the fans and she's just this like talking crap. Because honestly, we've seen Becky's social media game, like the stuff when she was going up against Ronda Rousey. She could talk crap with the best of them, and so you just amp that up as a heel. I think it can work. It's just will the fans
Fight.
receive it as, okay, she's a good heel, or will they receive it as, this doesn't seem natural, we don't like it? How are they going to, like, there's two different ways to perceive her being a heel. It's, okay, we're going to boo her because she's doing heel things and she's doing it well. Or it's, we're going to boo her because we don't like what they're doing with her. So it's really going to come down to fan reaction. I say give it some breathing room till Extreme Rules at the end of the next month or whenever it is, middle of next month, I think. Let it play out and see where it goes, and then you can pivot from there.
Yeah. So I want to be optimistic that Becky, as you said, is such a creative person on social media that will translate over to what we see on SmackDown. That hopefully I want to trust her, that she knows what she's doing.
Exactly.
If this was her idea, maybe she already has mapped out for the next couple months a whole program or storyline that she wants to follow through on. So I'll ride this out, but I think a lot of people might have a short leash as far as it's not working one way or the other. So I don't know. But by the way, I mean, that's the thing. Like SmackDown really turned to must-see TV now. Like how stacked that roster is. Between Becky, Bianca, Roman, Seth, Brock Lesnar, and the mid card, everyone.
Right.
There. I mean, Big E, Kevin Owens. I mean, dude, SmackDown. I mean, it is stacked. So I'm sure Fox is very happy what they're gonna get on Fridays now.
Oh yeah, and you said it right there. Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's back. He's another one that made his big return at SummerSlam. He came out at the very end of the show. He confronted Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman did the whole thing where he was down sitting in the corner on the apron. No, don't do it, Brock. Brock, don't do it. Let's just go. Da-da-da. And he played that up very well. And then he took John Cena to Suplex City for the live crowd. But
I was going to say, is this going to lead to Paul Heyman on a pole match between Roman and Brock? I mean, the winner gets custody of Paul
Could
Heyman.
we see 2002 all over again, Survivor Series, when Paul Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar, aligned with Big Show, and helped Big Show win the WWE Championship? No one saw that coming. Paul was all in on Brock and then turned on him. But I feel like that was great for Brock because we got to see Brock's character. Brock got to cut his own promos, and now that's why I'm excited for Brock now not being with Heyman, because we know Brock can cut promos. We've seen it back in 2003, 2004, the stuff he was doing with Kurt Angle on SmackDown. We saw it when he was building up his matches in the UFC. Brock Lesnar can go out there and talk, Now it's a matter of how do they let him work his character as far as not having Heyman there.
That's going to be interesting how that's going to work. But also, it's here's the thing. You know, everyone was so excited to see Brock back at SummerSlam. Roman, the stare down, Paul looking confused, like, oh my God, I don't know which side I'm on. You know, or he was like, oh my God, Brock's back. My first child is back. But everyone was super happy. But I was sitting there, I was like, man, remember a couple years ago in New Orleans, WrestleMania, and how everyone crapped on them and booed them? They're like, this is a terrible main event between Brock and Roman. Brock wins, throws the title at Vince. So it's amazing to me how much has changed in the last couple of years. How, you know, these two same guys, one went from babyface to a heel, different persona, different gimmick. Brock comes back with different look. It's amazing how people's perception of the same two people has changed when you give them some different creative that's better for everyone to take in.
There's also
so it's just amazing.
There's also been a big gap between the last time we saw Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. It wasn't like back then when we had Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31, and then they were wrestling at WrestleMania 34, and then they did the Saudi stuff. And it was like we were getting Brock and Roman every year. We haven't had it for like 3 years. So, and like you said, it's different now because Roman's the heel. Maybe Brock plays the baby face. He'll probably be like a tweener, as they say, going, you know, doing heel things, but, you know, cutting the jokes like a baby face. Because again, I think back to the stuff with Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, 2003 on SmackDown. When Kurt was chugging the milk and Brock walks up and smacks him in the back and stuff. He's like, oh, how's it going, pal? And, you know, Brock can be funny and Brock can do different things on the microphone that they just haven't let him do because, of course, he's got Heyman and Heyman's amazing. Yeah. But I'm excited to see Brock cut promos, whether that's against just Roman Reigns, whether that's against, face-to-face with Paul Heyman. That stuff should be interesting. And speaking of Brock, news came out on Brock today as well. As far as Brock's contract with WWE, according to Fightful, they reported that it was said to them that Brock signed like a roughly year-and-a-half deal. So it sounds like Brock is signed in to the end of next year, 2022, early 2023, and the deal is apparently 8 matches. So I would assume for sure he goes to Saudi in October. So there's one match. I don't see him working Survivor Series if he's not the champion. So then you just do that one match for 2021, and he does 7 more matches 2022. You've probably got that day one show, January 1st in Atlanta, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, of course. Yeah. SummerSlam next year.
Money in the Bank.
Roman Money in the Bank again. I don't know. So you've got options with Brock. You got at least 1 or 2 Saudi shows you could throw him on next year as well. Yeah. So you can flush out those 8 matches. And it's Brock. He's never been against, oh, you want me to work more? Just pay me more.
He's definitely by deal. I mean, great. I mean, like you said, I think he's been gone long enough that we miss him now.
16 months, his longest gap gone since he returned in 2012.
Okay, so it's you know, we what's the term? The heart grows fond, right? You know, we missed him. We missed him long enough.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
There we go. That's the one. But by the way, real quick, I want to see him bring back the boombox like the Money in the Bank, and like we know he could be funny by himself. Exactly. So with these promos, but so that's exciting though. Like I said, it's our perception of him's different now, and who knows how much, you know, could this be Brock Lesnar's last run? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure money talks, and if he works kind of
as long as Vince keeps paying him $12 million a year, he'll keep coming back for a couple matches, quick 5-minute, 6-minute matches.
Yeah, I was gonna say 8 matches for a year or 7, you know, based on the math, whatever. I mean, so that's not too much wear and tear on the body compared to everyone else who's full time. But fine. I mean, listen. Shots were fired last Friday on Rampage. CM Punk showing up on AEW. Now, Becky's return, that's more, I think, related to, obviously, the Sasha Banks situation. But Brock Lesnar, I would imagine his return, that is a reaction.
They've been talking
to
him
Punk
since midsummer.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been talking to Brock since midsummer. But they didn't know because so what I've heard is they've been talking to Brock since Midsummer, but Brock's kind of been just like, yeah, whatever, okay, we'll do something. Like they wanted Brock as quick as they could, starting when they were coming back on the road. And from what I heard, Brock's side was always just like, yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll work something out. We're not, WWE was imminent. We want Brock as soon as possible. And Brock's side was like, well, what do you got for us? What is going to happen with all this? They weren't as, what's the word I'm looking for? Not anxious. They weren't as like gung-ho on getting this now. The imminent thing. I guess you could use that word.
Yeah,
they weren't as imminent.
Patient.
Yeah. And we'll see where it goes. I mean, Brock Lesnar being back is going to work, like I said. The report is 8 matches over the next year and a half, so he's signed to the end of next year. We don't know exactly what the pay-per-view schedule or any of that looks like for next year, other than we've got Mania in Dallas, and we've got Money in the Bank in Vegas. That's really all we know. And, of course,
Rumble
is
right.
rumored for St. Louis, but we don't know exactly if that's going to happen or not. But then you got the 2 Saudi shows. Other than that, open slate to bring Brock back and do whatever. But apparently, according to, we're speaking of Becky and Brock, according to Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast, he's got a connection within USA. Apparently, USA is not happy about losing both Becky and Brock, which those are 2 big draws that you just lost from your Monday show, brought over to SmackDown. Fox, like you said, got to be elated, but USA may not be.
Yeah, no, and rightfully so. USA pays them a lot of money between USA Network for Raw, NXT, the Peacock deal, which is all under the Universal.
You could say, hey, you still get them on pay-per-views for Peacock.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But remember when they went to Fox back in 2019? Like a lot of people assumed Brock was going to go there because of the UFC connection to Fox originally back in the day, and they were trying to be more perception-wise, be more sport-based for Fox. But Brock only showed up that one night, beat Kofi, and then went back, took the WWE Championship, and went back to Raw. And so that was kind of like a one-time thing. But like I said earlier, like SmackDown is stacked, and so that is Fox. And I'm sure I totally believe those reports. USA Network's probably like, hey guys, you got like all your biggest names from like the last 5-10 years on that show, and what do we got? We got 3 hours to fill. And no one here has that same star power.
It's always funny when the fans go, like, before the pandemic and all that. They go, we don't care about Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's a part-timer and this and that. Yet whenever Brock is advertised to be on a Raw, they do a better rating than the week before. But then you get all the people on social media that go, oh, it's Brock Lesnar. We don't care about Brock. He's the part-timer that took the championship away and the this and that and da-da-da. And then Brock episodes of Raw were always, ratings went up this week. What the heck? Brock Lesnar. That's what the heck.
This is another example. Going back to Daniel Bryan when he was the Planet's champion, and he cut that promo and says, "You fans are fickle." Yeah. Now this is another example where he's loosely was speaking the truth. Fans say, "Oh, I don't like this, I don't like that," but yet when something like this happens, like, see, you guys say you don't like this, but look, people are tuning in, so it just proves you guys are secretly still watching, or you still tune in for stuff like this that you say publicly you don't care about. So
exactly.
But I get it. If you're USA Network, you're probably livid. It's like, what the hell? These big name people who do have ratings draws, are on the other network. I mean, listen, and you got Fox and USA, 2 big companies paying a lot of money to WWE, and so you want the best show out there, the best product out there, and you look at Raw ratings just keep declining. So I'm sure, they're very pissed. It's like, hey guys, let's fix this. And so it makes you wonder a couple things. And this is something I've seen people complain, it's like Vince doing creative. Like, maybe the answer. How come USA Network, who pays a lot of money, and Raw has declined so much look at the last like 20 years from the end of the Attitude Era to now? The Attitude Era, weren't they doing like a 10 share, like 10 million people watching at one point?
They were getting now, because if you watch the Monday Night Wars documentary, they were saying that like the ratings were like 5 million against 5 million, Raw doing 5 million, Nitro doing 5 million, and this and that. So
And now, like, it's barely like what 1.6, if that, whatever it
Well,
is.
I think Raw this week was over 2 million.
What was over 2? Yeah, yeah.
It
But
was the
like,
second biggest show of the year, I believe.
so,
That's
when
still
does
they're still down like 20% year over year.
yeah? I just want to know, when does someone from USA be like, hey, we're paying you a lot of money. There needs to be a change.
Ain't gonna happen because it
But
does
like,
better ratings than anything else on USA.
interest. Okay, okay. Because I was kind of wondering, when does someone step in and be
You're
like,
not
guys,
wrong because someone's got to step in and say, "Hey, enough is enough with the declining ratings." But then at the same time, when this is your highest rated show and you can say legitimately half of the year that this is the number one show on cable for X Monday, like if they're not up against The Bachelor finale or football, they're the number
yeah,
one show on Monday on cable.
okay,
Well,
all right.
even at that, you can still say, well, The Bachelor's on cable, so or The Bachelor's on network TV, so that's not competition. We only care about cable. But
Because what I'm saying is, like, just outside of TV, if
right,
you're performing at a job and your
no, you're
performance or
not
your
wrong.
rating, you're declining year after year, whoever owns or runs or oversees the operation will be like, okay, we need to make a change.
Yeah,
But this is a very isolated, different situation. If I'm correct, how it works is USA pays WWE, but WWE has full control of their 3-hour time slot,
because
right? Is that
because they do all their own production and stuff. It's not like the NFL or the Major League Baseball who okay, you have the rights to air our shows, or even NASCAR. It's the same way with Fox. It's
okay?
you air our shows, but you also take care of production. You have your own announce team. You have your own production crew running everything.
Okay.
WWE, they go in there with their own crew. AEW the same way. Go in there with their own crew. They put on their own show. It just airs on USA, airs on Fox, airs on TNT. It's not like I said with like say NASCAR for instance, because I follow that, so I know exactly how that works. Half
Yeah.
the year they're on Fox. Fox has their own
Mhm.
three announcers on Fox. They got their own production team, their interviewers and everything. Second half of the year, the rights shift over to NBC. NBC's got
Okay.
their own 4 announcers, their own crew and everything. So that's how most sports work. It's the network takes care of production. But with
Mhm.
wrestling, it's the wrestling company takes care of production, and it's ran more like a television show, not a sports product, even though we're supposed to think, oh, well, this is a sports product. This is on Fox Sports. But it's still done like the company takes care of production like a TV show or a movie would.
So you're saying pretty much USA rents out WWE. Like
Well,
WWE
yeah,
has they have full control of what they do since they're paying for all those
for the most
costs.
part, yeah, it's basically like any show you see on USA Network,
Yep.
Chris
Okay.
Lee's or CSI or Chicago
Yeah.
PD. You're just paying to have those shows on your network.
Just having the rights to
Yeah,
it.
it's
But
WWE. It's different because WWE's ran, like I said, like an entertainment property, not like
Mhm.
other sports properties. Because
Gotcha.
even UFC, for example, yes, they've got their own crew for pay-per-views and everything, but I
Mhm.
remember specifically once it was one of the first shows they ever did on Fox. Joe Rogan
Mhm.
was being told what to say. He went on his podcast and goes, I love UFC. I'll do all the pay-per-views. I'm never working another Fox show again because nobody's going to tell me what I can and can't say. He's like, on pay-per-view, they let me say whatever I want. But Fox was in my ear telling me what to say. I ain't working another Fox show.
Really?
Yeah, Joe Rogan did that. It was the early Fox days for UFC. He did not like
Interesting.
that they were producing him and telling him what he could and couldn't. Like, it was basically a Vince McMahon situation of Vince is always telling you what to say in your ear.
Yeah.
Well, Fox was doing the same thing to Joe Rogan. He didn't like it. He's Joe Rogan. He can say, nope, I'm just going to work pay-per-views. Hence, why Joe Rogan is only on the pay-per-views now. He doesn't do the ESPN Fight Night shows or anything. It's just pay-per-view for Rogan. That's why.
Interesting. Well, let me ask you this as one possible solution, and I don't know who'll do it. Do you think they should end the brand split then? That way, these superstars, these big name draws, can appear on both shows, Raw and SmackDown,
I
on different
think
networks.
I think it would be smart, but I think also one of the things they pitched to Fox was having your own unique brand, your own
Yeah.
unique wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh,
Dedicated
you can
wrestlers.
only see
Yeah.
these guys when they're wrestling on Fox. You
Yep.
can't go watch them Mondays on USA and go, I already got my Seth Rollins match this week. I don't need to see him on SmackDown.
Yeah, and that's true. And here's the thing: as sad and unfortunate all the cuts that have been for the last year and a half plus,
Mm.
their roster is still so big that it could be spread across two brands.
Right.
And that way, some people are going to get more screen time. If they end the brand split tomorrow, there's some people who we see now who probably won't get as much TV
For
time.
sure.
So
100% for sure.
the brand split does have, I think, an overall
Mhm.
a very important reason why it exists. There are some people, and granted, there's still a lot of people who we love who don't get enough TV time as it is.
Right.
Imagine if there was no brand split, there would be, like Ricochet. Someone comes to mind. We see him on Raw.
Yeah. Now you got to add all the SmackDown guys to Raw. Nope. Ricochet.
Yeah.
Nope. Throw him on main event.
He'll be main event, if that. So so that was one thing I was like, okay, if the networks are mad, do they end the brand split? But then I was like, well, no, that creates even more of a bigger can of worms and some issues with the roster. So I get it. I understand that it's tough to please the networks, but it makes me wonder if that draft can't come fast enough. I was like, okay, if Becky and Brock, Roman all stay on SmackDown, I was like, who can leave SmackDown to add some star power over on Raw? That should be interesting.
Tough one.
I mean, when I talked to Drew McIntyre last week, I asked him, I was like, what are your long-term goals? You've pretty much accomplished everything on Raw. At this point, if there's a draft coming up soon, what would you rather do? Would you rather stay on Raw and try to do something else that you haven't done yet? Or would you rather go SmackDown for a fresh start? And he said he wants to keep going after the WWE Championship, even though he can't go after it right now because the stipulation, Bobby Lashley's still champion. And I was like, well, maybe you should go to SmackDown and, fresh start, go after the Universal title, maybe get a win over Roman. But I know Roman, he's not losing that title anytime soon. They're keeping him strong until they get that Rock match at WrestleMania. But now I think about it, between that, Brock, Becky, I was like, Drew probably should stay on Raw. He has probably a better chance of being a main eventer and be one of the top dogs on Raw than going to SmackDown and be lower tier compared to the other people who are main eventing right now. So a lot has changed since that I first asked that question last week. So for Drew McIntyre's sake, he probably should stay on Raw, which he probably will, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think so too. He's been a staple there for the last 2 years. Once he won that Royal Rumble and then challenged Brock Lesnar, got the championship. So I think when you think of Monday Night Raw, you think of Drew McIntyre. Mm-hmm. And they say, the reports are USA was mad they lost Becky, they lost Brock. 2 draws for sure. But then if they lost Drew as well, someone who has been synonymous with that brand, they're really going to get upset.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what Bruce Pritchard and the powers that be come up with as far as, okay, how do we take this roster and how we kind of balance it back out again? So I wonder, guys like maybe Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. I mean, but they're not. These people don't have the same draw as a Brock Lesnar. It's almost like you need like 5-6 people to go over the Raw.
Who really does have the draw? Brock's a legit draw, especially now more so because of his UFC days. Everyone knows who he is.
Unless I'm trying, the only person is maybe Edge. Edge goes back to
maybe,
Raw.
Yeah.
That's the only person I think of who's like, as a name over on SmackDown.
Edge and Seth were the 2 I was thinking.
But then, with Seth go to Raw with his wife. Yeah, they finally got married, right?
Yeah.
A little private wedding. Over on SmackDown. I think.
I mean, why not? Becky drops the title before the draft back to Bianca, and then they draft them both to Raw.
That could be. I'm just, man, this booking stuff is really tough for WWE. I sympathize a little bit more with them, but no, it's gonna be interesting to see how this draft plays out and who goes where. So,
speaking of who goes where, we got a couple of wrestlers that their contracts are coming up and have come up and whatnot. First one I want to just quickly mention, it was reported by Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast. Don't have much details, but Shinsuke Nakamura apparently re-signed. He signed a new, I don't know, the verbiage that was used was contract extension. So don't know if it's a full new contract. Don't know how long the extension's for. I don't know if this is like I don't know if it's like a Riddle situation where I think the Riddles, they called it an extension as well because they like added 3 years to his deal. His deal was coming up. They added 3 years. They said, hey, we'll give you the same thing. Maybe they gave him a pay boost. I don't know. But from what I heard, it was basically, hey, we'll keep you around. We'll use you. We'll bump you up in how we use you, this and that. We got plans. And so they added like 3 years to his deal. Nakamura apparently, and this makes a lot of sense, new deal, new contract extension. Well, they've been pushing Nakamura. So maybe he re-signed within the last 2 months. We're just now hearing about it now. And that's why they've got the confidence of, well, this guy's contract is coming up. He agreed to stay with us. Now let's push him. Give him a bunch of wins. Give him the Intercontinental Championship. There you go. Now, the one thing that I agree with Zarian on this one, what he said was, WWE is probably the place for Nakamura to stay right now. It's a good idea, good decision because A, he's a legend. Everyone knows who he is. Everybody loves him. B, he's kind of up there in age. And so being in WWE, he doesn't have to work as hard as he would in a New Japan or work as, and that's not a knock on WWE or anything, but he doesn't have to have that hard, stiff style as like going back to New Japan or even some of the matches he would have to have in AEW or Ring of Honor or whatever. And he knows he's going to get paid well. His family loves living in Florida. We've heard him say that before. I mean, he loves living on the beach and being able to go surf whenever he wants. So Nakamura, don't know how long the extension's for, but he's sticking around, and that's a good thing to see for WWE.
Yeah, you just touch it right there as far as, like, he made himself a legend with his years in New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this point in his career and his age, I think he's just setting up for retirement, which is smart. It's like, like many wrestlers have said, you work your 20s and early 30s, establishing yourself, and then later in life, you get those big contracts to set yourself up financially for retirement. And so, yeah, as you said, like, he's a big surfer. He loves surfing. I'm sure, for him, he's like, okay, these contracts are just, setting me up long-term for myself and my family.
Exactly.
That, he can't wrestle forever. So it's like,
No.
okay, save up some money and set up long-term. And, I'm sure he just wants to maintain a good relationship with WWE because if you're in their good graces, they'll take care of you for life, more or less, or for the most part. But the thing also is, it kind of makes sense because in the last few months, he's really been getting rewarded with a lot of good booking from.
Well, that's why I'm thinking he may have re-signed this within the last couple of months.
Yeah, because look, he's a king now. He's got a cool entrance with Rick Boogs. He won the Intercontinental Championship. He got a dance break at SummerSlam, even though he didn't, which I was still a little bummed. I know he won the title on SmackDown. I was kind of hoping they would save that for SummerSlam. I know SummerSlam was a stacked card as it is, but I kind of wish they would have waited a week.
Well, now we know they needed a 5-minute filler because the Bianca stuff went way shorter than they were hoping Bianca. Because I assume Bianca Sasha would have gone 10, 15 minutes. No, you cut half of that time out with what they did with them. So they need to fill that 5 minutes.
Yeah, I get in that whole drip Xavier Woods, Scott Hall impression versus Miz and Morrison. That was a whole nother.
Well, that was all to promote Pure Life Water. And to be completely honest, I didn't even get that was the sponsorship until someone someone goes, oh yeah, that was all to build Pure Life. I go, really? Oh. They never even. The only thing that I saw Pure Life was on the pre-show when Miz and Morrison showed up in a pre-life truck, or Pure Water, Pure Life, whatever it's called, truck. Other than that, I didn't see that anywhere else. So I go, that failed.
But for Shinsuke, it's like, what else does he need to prove?
Exactly,
he's done it all. And like what you said, WWE, they are known for their more safer wrestling style. So for him, it's like, yeah, I could keep wrestling here and wrestle a safer style that's not going to tear my body apart. And listen, AEW's roster is stacked. Impact is, a little bit of a lower tier promotion for what he's, what his name value represents. Where else could he go? I mean, if he wants to stay living here in America, could he do stuff with New Japan? New Japan Strong? No.
He can go to AEW, but I think AEW is to his benefit right now. Because WWE knows that fan base would love to see Nakamura in AEW. So they treat him well. They get him to stay. They keep him from AEW. So I think having AEW around is a benefit to him for WWE because they're going to treat him well because he's somebody that fan base would go nuts for and they know it.
Oh, and absolutely. I mean, so from a bargaining standpoint, having that competition there is great. And
Mhm.
hypothetically, if he did go to AEW, though, I mean, I know it's a much tougher work wrestling style that at his older age might be a little bit harder on the body. But, AEW, they do have that working relationship with New Japan going,
True.
and he
Mhm.
could get maybe some rematches with some people from his past, his New Japan days. So it'd be kind of a cool coming full circle of like, oh, he hasn't wrestled this person in how many years, or he can on AEW's behalf, could he go back to Wrestle Kingdom in the dome? And but for him, he's probably like, you know what, I've done it all at this point. Let's live a good, easy
And
latter part of his career with WWE.
he's said it over the last couple of years that he moved his family to America. His family
Mhm.
really likes it here,
Yeah,
and he didn't move him here just to move him back in a couple of years.
yeah, yeah.
So,
It's great, man. You follow him on Instagram. He's living his best
right?
life. I mean, he's at the beach. He's smiling. I mean, that's the thing. You got everyone's different with how their life how they want to go with
Exactly.
their life. For him, what makes him ultimately happy? As long as he's getting paid, his family's happy, he's living a good life, he's surfing, like you said. That's all that matters. I mean, who knows? There's some people who maybe there's certain things they want to accomplish and achieve, and that's why they bounce from promotion to
Mhm.
promotion to get that, feel satisfied in some ways.
Right.
For him, he's probably like, you know what, I've done everything, I feel good. Yeah, quality of life is very much important for people, and so for him, if he's happy, more power to him at this point.
Right. So, another contract that's been talked about recently is Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne is an NXT wrestler, and and with Pete Dunne, it's kind of like, what does WWE do with Pete Dunne, really? I know this past week on NXT, if you haven't watched the spoiler alert, he stepped up to Samoa Joe, wants to challenge Samoa Joe for the NXT championship and this, that. But he's another one where it's like, no offense to Pete Dunne, but if he were to leave WWE, I don't see him going to a New Japan. Or not New Japan. I don't see him going to AEW. I think they may be interested in him at first, but he is a guy that, no offense, I don't see fitting in really there. He's very different than what they have. He's very different than what they put. I don't know how to explain it, but he just seems like someone that isn't going to fit in like everybody else that's there.
From I think more from a personality standpoint, as
Yes.
far as, I mean, listen, we know he's done the stuff with Riddle back in the
Mm.
day. He was more the straight guy, and Riddle was more the goofy fun
Mhm.
guy, the odd couple pairing type of thing, which that was fun, and he was good in that role. But I don't see him going to AEW, and he can't do some of that funny unless they try to
I
they
mean, they already
if they
got their straight lace heel. I'm going to beat everybody up guy in Miro, and was he just trying to be another Miro? Like they've already
it's
got that guy that's no comedy, no bullshit, straight up. I'm going to beat people up. They already got that in
unless
Miro, and
yeah unless
Lance Archer to a degree as well.
I'm just thinking, like, he's in a situation where he looks and wrestles like a lot of other guys, but those other guys have like more charisma, I feel like, or
Mhm.
better on the mic.
Yes,
So
very yes.
he's at a little bit of a disadvantage there. And so I think it's almost better take what you can from WWE. He's still young, but 27. So I think he can still probably ride out a few more years in WWE, see what it has to offer, and then explore his options. Maybe when he hits
Exactly.
his 30s. So, he does have a little bit more time on his hands, while other guys a little bit older are trying to set themselves up for long-term
Yeah.
plans. Yeah, I mean, New Japan, dude, if he was in like a G1 type tournament, that'd be awesome.
Oh
His
yeah.
style, the hard-hitting style. I know the UK wrestling scene did suffer a little bit when NXT UK came into the fold, but maybe he can go back out there and do some stuff. But and he's a situation where he's young and he's probably still trying to establish himself. I think where, potentially if Adam Cole, well, we know Adam Cole's done with NXT completely, but
Yeah.
I think this is a good time where other guys are gone with the cuts that they made and people coming off the books from their contracts. This might be a good time for him to really reestablish himself on the NXT
True.
brand. So maybe take advantage of the opportunity, ride it out. a lot of the promotions are stacked. I mean, he can't go to Impact or something like that. It's not the same. I mean, maybe Ring of Honor.
He would fit. I think he would fit in Impact, but I don't know. I feel like he would fit there, but it would still feel weird.
It's just you can look at it by being on NXT still, you're still on the USA Network, a much larger cable channel versus what Impact has, Ring of Honor, these current TV deals. So from your own brand and your exposure to the masses, it makes sense to stay where you're at right now. Increase your brand, your popularity on social media, whatever it is. Use this opportunity, resign, ride this out, and up your value long term, your brand, so become more valuable that way.
We know WWE wants to keep him because the latest report from Fightful said that they offered him recently a new deal. So it's not like, oh, his deal's coming up, and he's someone we can win or we could take or lose. If he wants to stay, he could stay. If he go whatever. But they offered him a new deal. No details on what that new deal is, but that is telling that with all these cuts they've made in NXT, he's one of those guys that they don't want to lose from the NXT standpoint. I don't know. I don't know where they are on him as far as main roster eventually, because he's been in that NXT system for a while now. But as far as NXT goes, he's someone that they want to keep there and not lose. Because I mean, how many guys can you pull from NXT and keep that show with named guys? Pete Dunne is now in WWE a named guy to that NXT brand. It's not like, oh, okay, we're going to bring a bunch of people up and then we're just going to put new guys all on the show. You got to have some of the established guys like a Pete Dunne, a Samoa Joe, a Johnny Gargano, and so forth.
So you say he could be that bridge to, he has the name value, the name recognition that people keep watching NXT.
Exactly.
But then at the same time, he works with these newer talents and helps establish their names and their brands that people get familiar with them. So these new guys. And then
maybe eventually they call him up to the main roster. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any kind of, I haven't heard any kind of interest for him on the main roster. But
well, listen, I mean, and he is did have the longest NXT UK title reign. So for Walter,
I don't like the whole thing. Well, Walter had the title for 800 days. Yeah. Well, you didn't run NXT UK for like 5 months.
Yeah.
Like 3-4 months.
Put a little asterisk next
exactly.
to Walter. But what I'm getting at is like, it's, you know, if they lose Adam Cole, that sucks as far as your longest reigning NXT champion is now gone. So, and you know, sometimes when people leave, they don't refer to those particular achievements or records on TV as much, or if ever again. So I'm sure for them, it's like, okay, we got to keep Pete Dunne. He is one of our most successful people on the NXT.
And you know, Pete Dunne's always going to give you a good match.
True. Yeah.
Especially with the roster they have in NXT, he always puts on good matches.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And he could be a great, you know, I saw in NXT this week, we saw a lot of people come out and quote, look like challenging Samoa Joe. I'm sure they're trying to figure out who's going to be the next challenger. They're like, let's throw everyone out there and we'll figure it out because we're taping a bunch of the next few weeks.
Well, yeah, we don't know because they couldn't, you hear the spoiler stuff that happened at the tapings?
People got thrown out, right?
So there was one guy that was working for bodyslam.net and he was on his phone. He was updating the spoilers. Well, somebody there snapped a photo of him, put it on Twitter and goes, hey, look at this guy posting spoilers during NXT. Someone from WWE came to him, told him, you need to leave. You are being escorted out of the building. They drove him back to Full Sail where his car was. They bussed him back over where his car was at Full Sail. And they told him you can't come back. So everyone was scared to post spoilers on Tuesday when they did 2 shows. That's why we did not get any spoilers on Tuesday from the taping.
Okay, because I was wondering, how did someone get busted for posting spoilers?
Because they told the guy, apparently, we have a photo of you. And apparently, like, you can see his phone and you can see clearly, like, I don't know if you can read what it is, but it looks like the layout from the bodyslam.net website and the colors and everything. You can tell he's him. And they told him, we have a photo of you doing this. We don't. If it's that big of a deal, make them all sign NDAs like Lucha Underground did.
Interesting. Okay, because I was wondering, how do you get caught for posting spoilers?
If it's that big of a deal, we don't want spoilers posted. then yeah, you scared everybody on Tuesday from wanting to not get kicked out. It happened to JJ Williams, who was doing it for Figure 4 Wrestling Observer website recently, where they were like, hey, we're going to ask you to leave. You're taking pictures and posting spoilers and stuff. We don't want that anymore. He was doing it for years. JJ was posting spoilers and doing the NXT live reports for the Observer website for years.
Well,
for years. And
I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm baffled how these people get caught. Like,
someone ratted him out on Twitter, this guy, on Monday.
it's like, why do it in real time? These are taped. Why not wait till you leave the facility and go back to your hotel room or something?
True.
Right? I mean, it's like, dude, just.
But then, if he was just taking notes on his phone and someone goes, "Oh, is this guy writing down the spoiler?" It could have been the same thing. If someone caught him and thought he was still doing the same thing, writing them down on his phone. But here's the funny thing: he put them spoilers out, and the NXT rating was slightly up, so it didn't hurt him. It didn't hurt him.
I'm just like, these people getting caught. It's like, you gotta be a little more discreet, or don't be updating the website on your phone in real time if that's what he's doing. Like, dude, just like text yourself little notes and then go back when you're in your privacy of your home or hotel, whatever, and do it there. Like, that's what I'm just like, you got caught, man. Come on, you gotta be smarter than that. Like, assume someone's watching you.
But here's the thing. People have posted NXT spoilers for years. We've got JJ Williams would always do it. Mr. Jacob Cohen on Twitter would always do it. So you don't think anything of it when you're just there going, all right, I work for this website, or this website asked me to do this. You don't think anything of it at the time. But then you come Monday, you hear what happened to this guy. Tuesday, no one wants to take that risk.
I mean, I'm just like, I could be at a show and I could probably just like watch and just mentally remember what happened and then just go back and just write it all down later. I don't know.
They had some detailed spoilers. I'll tell you what.
Oh, okay.
Their spoilers
I didn't read this. I didn't read them. Okay.
Yeah, the Body Slam spoilers were pretty detailed.
Man, that's okay. I mean, listen, it must be big money.
Apparently,
for them.
he was
That's why
told.
they do it.
So I'm reading something here from Cassidy Haynes of Body Slam. Said his correspondent was, quote, kicked out. Told they have a photo of him, and when he asked why he was being kicked out, they said because you were posting spoilers and being, quote, potentially being a dirt sheet writer.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, that's so funny to me. You're being labeled as a dirt sheet writer. Get out of here.
They said, quote, what was it? The correspondent said she said she had a picture of me on my phone and everything, and that I was accused of being a, quote, potential dirt sheet writer.
I'm so torn because growing up in the 90s, I love that element of surprise. I like watching stuff and being shocked and surprised. Oh my God, that happened. And not have everything spoilered. But at the same time, we're in a different world now. And for me, I love superhero movies and stuff. And so whenever a report, something happened on set, like so-and-so was spotted, I do read up on that stuff. And I'm like, that mentality, that goes for wrestling fans as well. They want to be part of the action. They want to know stuff in advance. They want to hear what rumors go on, and therefore they can talk to their friends about it and have that water cooler talk. So I get it why spoilers are a very popular trend. And it's been like that for decades. I'm not saying this is all brand new now. It's been going on for decades. So I understand the appeal, why people want to read spoilers in advance. And that way they could tell their friends, oh my God, I heard so-and-so's coming, or this is going to happen. We got to tune in. I get it. I understand why that's all very popular. And I read a lot of spoiler stuff too, even when it comes to like movies and stuff. I'm all for it. And like, if you're entertained by doing that stuff, great. That's on you. Enjoy it. Live your best life being a wrestling fan. And even for me now, as I'm older and kind of doing this, podcasting, wrestling coverage. So, and like hearing what other people say. So I'm exposed to more spoiler stuff based on various discussion stuff. And there are times like, oh, I wish I didn't know about that. But at the same time, it is what it is. It's not going to ruin my day if I knew about something in advance. It doesn't beat me up that bad. So, and like I said, a lot of these wrestling websites probably make big money with all the web hits of the spoilers that they post. That's why they keep doing it. So,
I mean, whenever I do spoiler videos, they're some of the better videos on the channel. So
I believe that. I Yeah, no, I totally get that. And so like I said, when it comes to entertainment stuff, if there are reports that, like I said, so and so on set, people will read that and start trying to guess in their head, oh, what's that mean if so and so's there? Is this good? What's going to happen next? And it's all part of the whole experience as a fan, and that's fine. Like I said, if you like reading spoilers, that's great for you. As long if that makes you continue being a fan long term, fine, that's great. So, yeah,
But
it's
one final contract to talk about. Of course, it's
okay.
man of the hour, the man of the week, the man of the last couple of weeks or whatever, Adam Cole, baby. So what we know right now is that Adam Cole's contract is set to expire tomorrow. We don't know exactly if that means he's a free agent tomorrow or if he's a free agent Saturday. I'm going to take it as free agent tomorrow. I'm going to take it as his contract expires tomorrow. Now, if he leaves WWE, he technically made his last appearance for the company today because he did a Mattel toy reveal with Johnny Gargano on Amazon's website. Now, that wasn't done live. It's been reported by multiple outlets that was filmed weeks ago, so they can actually add like high production to it because they gone into different pictures and videos and things of the toys. I don't know. I haven't watched it yet, but because people were asking, "Oh, Adam Cole, you just worked WWE and this and that. Does that mean he's staying?" I don't know because that was filmed weeks ago. Now, as far as Adam Cole does go, everyone goes, "Oh, if he hasn't re-signed now, that means he's leaving, right?" Not necessarily. What the issue with Adam Cole is he's still under contract with WWE till at least tomorrow. Because of that, he cannot field offers. He cannot have discussions. He can go to the AEW New Year's party and go, "Tony Khan, what's going on?" But he can't say, "Tony Khan, how much you want to pay me to come wrestle for you?" Can't do that. That's called contract tampering. He can go wrestle -1 at a AEW after party or whatever and have the video posted online and whatnot. But he can't say, "Hey, got any plans for me? You want to use me?" He can't until his contract's up with WWE. That's called contract tampering. It's illegal. So
yeah, exactly.
My whole thing is Adam Cole waits it out. Waits out that WWE contract, knows what WWE's going to offer him, then takes it to Tony and says, "Tony Khan, what do you got for me? Here's what they've offered me." If he likes that offer, takes it. If he thinks, there's still that part of me that wants to stay with WWE, let's see if they'll match the AEW offer. Again, Edge did it. Edge came back SummerSlam 2019, did all that stuff or whatever with Elias. Then Tony Khan goes, "Whoa, this guy can do that. That means he may be cleared." Tony Khan calls Edge, says, "Hey, are you cleared?" Edge says, "I'm working on it." He says, "I want to offer you a contract." Edge takes that offer, tells Vince. Vince goes, "Okay, we'll match it." Edge wanted to be with WWE. He played both sides, got what he wanted from WWE. So I think Adam Cole should do the same thing. Wait till his contract is up, see what Tony Khan has to offer, and then either take it or take it back to WWE and say, "Can you at least match this? Can you give me more? Let's negotiate based off what they want to give me. What's the best option for him?" Not just, "Oh, WWE wants to offer me this, I'll take it." That could be an option, but I think he should play the long game and say, "I'm going to wait even if it's just a couple days, wait if it's just a week to see what both sides are offering and what they want to give me and who can match who and who can give what and who can outdo who."
Yeah, from my perspective of just this whole Adam Cole saga for months now, it seems like he's a very smart and professional employee.
I can tell you right now, Adam Cole on TV, 1,000% different than who he is in real life. I mean, just from watching his Twitch streams and from what I've told about him. Like, you go watch him on NXT, and he's like the smarmiest, all piece of shit. Everyone hates him, heel. But then you watch him on his Twitch, and like someone will donate like 1 bit, which is like a penny, and he's the most generous. "Oh my God, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that." He's the most like humbled, down to earth, genuine guy. And I've heard that he's loyal to a fault, that he's very genuine, that he's very nice. And it's like his real life is so much different than the character he plays on TV. And it's just like, they say because of that, that's why WWE asked him, "Hey, stick around just so we can finish the Kyle O'Reilly stuff." Of course, he's going to do it. WWE, he could have legit goes, "Oh, my contract's up? Okay, I'm going to go to Dynamite this Wednesday." No, he said, "I'll stay. I'll stick around. I'll finish this out because we had a plan." He was loyal to them, And so hopefully in return, they're as genuine and loyal back to him when offering him whatever deal they've offered him.
Well, yeah, because for me, it really looks like Adam Cole, he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
He knows he's a very successful and popular wrestler, and you're only in your prime years once. I'm sure he's like, this is probably the biggest or most important contract of his career ever.
Could be. I mean, he's my age, 32. He's got at least another decade. If he wants to, go until he's like 40, if he wants to like say he wants to wrestle till he's like AJ Styles' age, he can go another decade because AJ Styles is like early 40s.
Absolutely. But so he's hitting like this second phase of his career.
Right. And I get exactly what you're saying about this could be a very important contract because does he stay with WWE and then AEW get mad like they got mad at the Good Brothers for staying with WWE? Or does he go to AEW and then burn that bridge with WWE?
Yeah. So if he plays his cards right, he probably still has like 3, 4, 5 big contracts over the next 10, 12 years of his prime years.
Maybe around 3.
Yeah. Yeah. So for him, he's playing it smart. And like I said, he's been a true pro employee as far as, he could have walked away after what was a Great American Bash originally.
It was right around there.
He's like, you know what? I'll sign an extension, handshake deal, wherever it was, through the end of August for let's finish this Kyle O'Reilly story. Probably doing it as a solid favor for Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and his buddy Kyle O'Reilly. Like, let's finish this program, this story, and end it properly for the fans as well. And then now he's done that, and now it's like, okay, let's look ahead and see what's next for me. What are my options? But let's do this properly. As you said, let's wait till the contract is officially expired.
That would be the smart move.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, okay, is it Friday at 12:01 a.m. or is it 11:59 p.m. Friday night into Saturday morning?
Contract up Friday. It was kind of vague on what Friday actually means.
See, from my experience with contracts and stuff, it's usually like 12:01 a.m.
Yeah, that's what I would assume.
As soon as that day hits, it's never the end of the day. It's the beginning of the day.
And we also know with Adam Cole, he's done in NXT. If he stays with WWE, it's Raw or SmackDown. So
which scares me because you look at Karrion Kross.
Not me, because I know that ever since 2019, when WWE got stuck in Saudi Arabia and Adam Cole had to step up, Vince liked him, really did. And Triple H fought to keep him in NXT as long as he did.
Well, I remember even you said in previous reports and podcasts that he was involved in a long-term storyline. I remember you did a video where you said, look, he's the current NXT champion and they've had these long-term plans. They're not just going to throw him up on Raw or SmackDown. He's part of Undisputed Era. They want to develop a proper exit plan.
Well, because out of everybody on that brand, like you can say, I'm going to pick Karrion Kross. I'm going to pick, Adam Cole was the guy that Triple H said, I want to keep him until we have a real way to finish his story in NXT. Like, you don't hear him say that for many other people. Like, you'll get the whole Ty Dillinger's coming up to the main roster. He's got to finish his Eric Young thing that's got another week or two. We'll give him a cage match. He'll lose the cage match. He'll go to SmackDown. But no, with Adam Cole, it's like, no. Give us time. We're going to flesh out his character in NXT. We're going to finish off his story. We got to break up the Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly stuff. Like, you don't see Triple H go to bat like that for many other people.
And it was great because long term, it led to him, wrapping up or the Undisputed Era breaking up. He's helped putting over Kyle O'Reilly as a main eventer for NXT now. Roderick Strong, kind of doing his thing. Diamond Mine, now he's.
That's another story.
Yeah, it's another story. No, with the other people who were rumored to be in the group were never involved now. People who were there and now gone. I mean, that's a whole mess, and I feel bad for Roddy there. But he's now look like it's just focusing on the cruiserweight title for him. Great. Bobby Fish is gone, so I'm sure the Undisputed Era come breaking apart. I'm sure they probably had better intentions than what's being laid out now. But what I'm saying, as far as for Adam Cole, That's what's kind of annoying for the last couple months. People are like, man, he's been there in NXT for 4 years. He's done it all. If he was going to be up on the main roster, he would have been up there by now. But I was like, well, no. And I remember what you said. It's like, this was a slow burn or process to break it all down, separate him from NXT. They're not going to, like what you said, just immediately pick him and take him to Raw or SmackDown. They're like, let's do
they
this
did with
right.
Karrion Kross, to be honest.
Yeah, let's do this properly. Like, he's already in a program where he's going to be the eventual longest reigning NXT champion. Let's ride this out. I remember they were kind of teasing that with Finn Balor, like who's going to be the longest reigning champion. Finn Balor's going to keep his record or Adam going to break it. And then it's like, okay, you already have this amazing top faction. Well, when you do with a faction, you break them up and therefore you try to make individual stars out of that group. Well, how do you do that for Kyle O'Reilly? Well, Adam Cole and him have a program. He turned on each other, all that stuff. So Triple H is like, listen, you could take my guys here and there, but like, this is a very special, one of a kind situation we have here. I want this to properly dissolve and therefore set up stars out of this. So, and that's why it took so long. And that's why I was like, oh crap. Now it's like, look at the calendar. It's like, man, he's been there for 4 years now.
Yeah. And when you look at it, Adam Cole's arguably one of the best wrestlers they've ever had on the NXT brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, and also, Adam Cole was the face of NXT for the longest time, and they were going up against AEW.
Very much so.
Are you going to take away your top star in the middle of this Wednesday night war? No. I mean, that's the other thing, too, is like, he probably was like, I got to stay put here and represent the brand. And this was still in the early stages of the whole Wednesday night wars. Now that they moved to Tuesdays, the dust has settled. It's like, okay, what do we do with Adam Cole now?
I still want to know, not to cut you off really fast, if USA found out they weren't going to get hockey, if they go, oh, we're not going to actually get hockey, would they have ever moved NXT? So they only moved NXT because the hockey was supposed to be on Wednesdays. Now, they up in NBC Universal lost hockey.
To ESPN, right?
No, to Turner.
Or to Turner. Okay, yeah. That's right. Okay, I'll try. Yeah, it was all confusing to me.
So my whole thing, and not to derail the conversation, but it's like, if they found out 2 weeks prior, oh, we're not going to get hockey, never mind, would they ever have moved NXT off of Wednesday in the first place?
Or that was just an excuse just to get them off because they.
I mean, that's the big thing. It's like, oh, that excuse worked out for them.
Yeah. Well,
But try to bring it back to the Adam Cole thing,
Okay, so Adam Cole, so you're saying that video that came out today with Johnny Gargano, that was filmed a couple weeks ago?
Yes. So they can add production and stuff to it. That was not done live today.
Okay, because I was going to say, when I heard that,
I was skeptical when him and Tyler Breeze were playing Halo at 10 o'clock this morning Pacific time on Twitch.
Okay, because I was going to say, before I heard that detail, I was going to say, wow, it shows he really is a true...
Well, that's what a lot of people were thinking,
good employee. Like, he is working up until the very last day doing stuff for them. Because, if he knew his contract was, he could be like, F this, I'm taking this last week off. I'm not doing anything else for you guys.
From what I've heard of Adam Cole, if they would have asked him to do this live and he was still within the window of his contract, he probably would have done it.
And wow, I have much more respect for him now, learning about that. So that's very cool. Cool on him for doing that or having that mindset, being a good employee like that. And that's the thing. He probably realized, I'm going to be a good employee because, you don't want to burn any bridges, as you said. Now, granted, he might go somewhere else that better pays him or it's a better situation for him. So I hope they don't fault him for that. But my thing is, like, you see what happened to Karrion Kross, the NXT champion, the most recent one, and the way he's being treated on Raw or on Raw, I should say, his new look. I makes me wonder, was that going to scare off Adam Cole? Like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this.
If what I heard was correct, when WWE got stuck in Saudi, they needed NXT guys for that SmackDown, and he worked Daniel Bryan. Vince was there. Vince saw that match with Daniel Bryan. And that's when Vince was like, oh, my God, this guy's good. Then he had the match with Seth the next Monday, and that reassured Vince, this guy is good. And I've also been told, I told you off air as well, multiple people apparently have gone to Vince and told him, this is the guy you cannot lose. You cannot afford to lose Adam Cole. You need to do what you can to keep him and not lose him to AEW. Like, if multiple people in that company have gone to Vince, and we know Vince has flown him or not, I think... It may have been the SmackDown that they did in Orlando or something. I don't remember exactly. It was a Florida SmackDown. They brought him in. He had a private meeting with Vince. I think Triple H was in the meeting as well.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a meeting. Vince, I don't know. No one knows what was said in the meeting other than apparently they laid everything out. We want you on the main roster. You're going to be done with NXT. We want to keep you here. But since then, I've heard multiple people have directly gone to Vince, people that Vince respect, and said, that's a guy you can't lose. That's your next Shawn Michaels.
It's going to be interesting because I know some reports were like he was offered $1 million. Now,
no one knows any of that.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I heard that, I was like, who knows that? And my other thing is like, is that $1 million for 1 year or spread out over like 2, 3, 4 years? Who knows? But
that was like the Gallows Anderson thing where they were like, oh yeah, people said they offered us $1 million each. No, we only got like 750 offers.
My thing, and we'll find out because I know Rampage this Friday was already pre-taped, right?
Taped last night, yeah.
So it's not like he's going to show up on Rampage this Friday. And what happened? God, I mean,
the earliest he can show up for AEW is next week in Chicago on Wednesday.
On the Go Home show for All Out.
Yep. Well, the Dynamite go. Here's my question to you.
Yeah, Dynamite. Okay, yeah.
So here's my question to you. In AEW now, they have 2 shows, Friday, Wednesday. Which one do you consider the Go Home now? Wednesday or Friday? Because they're an interconnected brand. It's not 2 separate brands like WWE. So is Friday just now the AEW Go Home, and it's just the final Dynamite before the pay-per-view? And so Rampage is considered the Go Home. We do know that every Rampage before a pay-per-view will be live. Not every Rampage will be live, but if they're going to have a pay-per-view, that Rampage will be live.
I mean, they'll probably have to give that little extra detail. It's the Go Home episode of Dynamite. So they got to be that little specific
But here's
detail.
the thing. Can you say that? Because it's not like Go Home of Raw because that roster is their final show. Go Home of SmackDown because that roster is their final show. It's all one connected roster in AEW.
I guess Rampage will be the Go Home AEW show.
So that also is going to interest me. We've seen with the last couple episodes of Rampage, they've got a format. Do they change that for Go Home shows, though, to build up the pay-per-view? Because they've got to do a good match, squash match, decent match. That's been the format the last couple of weeks for Rampage.
Three matches, yeah.
And I want to know if they still continue on with their face-to-face or their right before the main event interviews with Mark Henry, because they've done that the last 2 weeks as well.
Which,
but anyways, if Adam Cole were to go to AEW, earliest he could show up is next Wednesday in Chicago, which is always a great town for wrestling.
Imagine if he wouldn't get involved with CM Punk.
Hey,
CM Punk's
Rampage, CM Punk. CM Punk had AC on his shoes. Is that Adam Cole? He had BW yesterday. Is that Bray Wyatt?
No, you should tell him to turn up the air conditioning. That's what it was. It was hot, man. But no, it's just I mean, for all we know, he could be just pranking people. I don't know. It's wrestling, man. We don't know what works, what's real, what's not anymore. I
think with Adam Cole, I think this is one of the most interesting ones as far as contracts we've had in a long time, because now AEW is 100% fully established. He's going to get a good offer there. He's got friends. He's got his girlfriend over there, which doesn't matter. To me, his girlfriend's in AEW. Whatever. You go where the better offer is, not where your girlfriend is. Wherever you think is going to be best for your career. And she's even said it. If he comes here, he comes here. If he stays there, if that's what makes him happy, I'm happy. So with Adam Cole, the whole thing is, who gives him the better offer? And where does he feel like he'll be used better in the long term? It's AEW, WWE. Don't go, maybe he goes to ROH. Maybe he goes to Impact. Don't give me that bullshit.
No. Yeah. Sorry. I love what ROH has been doing since they've been coming back from the pandemic. I love what I only catch really just the pay-per-views, but I've been loving all the pay-per-views so far. But no offense to, I know, okay, they're owned by Sinclair.
Adam Cole, only 3-time ROH champion.
He's coming home, but no, but they don't. But they just don't have the same platform, the stage, the audience reach that AEW.
Hey, they're on network TV, and AEW isn't. I get ROH at 2:00 in the morning on CW here.
What?
It runs on. It runs on a random. So, not AEW. ROH is owned by Sinclair Broadcasting.
Yes. Yeah.
Sinclair here, they own a bunch of networks. Here they own the local Fox and CW. So I randomly
Oh.
get it at like 2:00 in the morning on a Fox. So you can say Ring of Honor is also on Fox, and then it'll air on like Sunday afternoons sometimes on CW as well. It's just Sinclair puts it out in syndication on their channels that they own. They own, like, I think in Seattle, Sinclair owns the ABC. So on like Saturdays, it's on ABC in Seattle.
I gotta look this up, see if I have it out here.
But yeah, it's always random. You never know. It's always
because
like,
I remember. Oh no, I was just gonna say. I remember years ago it was on HD Net before it became Access TV, and it was on Destination America where I live. I mean, so I was like, it was never consistent. So they never had consistent TV
but yeah, it's
deals.
basically Sinclair just throws it on their channel wherever if they own a Fox, if they own a CW, if they own an ABC. Here they own Fox and CW, and so it gets like I'll be watching the NASCAR race on Fox. And it'll be like Sunday at 3:00, and all of a sudden the NASCAR race is over. Boom, ROH just comes on. It's not this time, this week, it's not set. It's just there's an opening in the programming, let's throw ROH in it. And a lot of times it's like 1, 2 in the morning on Fox.
Because I would love to watch ROH on a regular. I mean, I know you can get Honor Club or you could pay like a monthly fee on Fight TV. Yeah. But I would, like I said, I would love, because I get Impact Wrestling on Access. I get Access TV on my cable plan. But I would love ROH to have a TV deal. Like I said, I love ROH. I would love to see more of these other smaller promotions just get back on a bigger platform that's they're exposed to a larger fan base. But anyway, what I'm getting at is, no offense to these smaller promotions, but with Adam Cole's value right now,
yes,
he is cable network worthy. Like, he needs to be on a promotion that is that large, and AEW is the only one outside of WWE that can compete with that. Mm-hmm. So that's why it just comes down to two promotions, WWE or AEW. So now, like going back with Shinsuke, it's like your quality. Which promotion outside of the money gives you a better quality of life? And that's ultimately for him to decide, like, what's the better situation for me that checks off all the boxes that makes me happy in life. So is it having a little bit of a lighter work schedule with AEW, be with your your friends, your girlfriend, get paid whatever amount, be on Twitch still, I
still say he should negotiate that and do his WWE deal and be like, hey, you want to keep me? Let me keep my Twitch. Because when you look at it, even the NXT people are still allowed to stream. He's the only one.
Okay, let me ask you this. On his Twitch, I don't watch it, but is it true there's like no Adam Cole?
No, he can't. He can't use Adam Cole.
Branding.
No, he can't use the name Adam Cole because technically WWE owns it right now. But I think from what I've been told, once he leaves, now here's the interesting thing. Once he signed a paper, I could pull it up on the website for the trademark. He signed a thing saying, yes, I've had the name since before WWE, but I'm giving WWE the permission to trademark this name. Now, he can leave and WWE can say, now we're going to keep that. But if he fought it in court, I think he would win. They tried to keep Chelsea Green's real name under trademark. I mean, I know Nakamura signed it, and that's his real name, Shinsuke Nakamura. He signed it. They can trademark his real name.
I know Mark Henry, they were using his name for the longest time still, and I think he finally told him, or it came up, and he's like, I'm taking it back.
Yeah.
I think Mark Henry, I forgot which interview it was.
But I know with Adam Cole specifically, they own the trademark. They paid to get it trademarked, but he signed a waiver saying, yes, I've used this name for years before WWE, and I give them permission. So they could say, hey, you can't take it, but I think if he goes to court to try and fight it, they would lose.
Okay. Interesting. It's going to be...
That's a slippery slope depending on whoever's that judge, because the judge can go, well, it ain't your birth name, like Chelsea Green's whole thing. It's her birth name.
Okay.
With him, his real name is Austin. What is his real name? It's Austin.
Well, what I'm saying is, dude, how amazing would it be he shows up
Jenkins.
Wow. Okay. All
Austin
right.
Jenkins, baby.
But I'm just saying, dude, how the wrestling world will explode if he showed up on SmackDown tomorrow or this week. You know what I mean? Like, what happened if he showed up? That would now obviously that would end the discussion of what's going to happen next with him.
Right. And I know there are some in WWE that are not thinking it through, in my opinion, and have told different people, like it's come out in a couple different reports. Oh, if Adam Cole hasn't signed before his contract's up, then he's done. Then he's not going to even. No, I think he should play the system, play the field. Not, oh, he's not going to resign. That means he's for sure done. Not for sure. But again, like you said, he could show up tomorrow on SmackDown. He could show up next week on Dynamite. We'll have to wait and see.
Exactly. Just be, as CM Punk said this week on Dynamite, you just got to be patient.
Yeah, got to be patient. But with that, before we get into our last quick topic, I do want to state that this podcast is brought to you by Homage. You need wrestling shirts, vintage wrestling shirts at that? Then head over to homage.com/WWE. One thing that you'll notice is the quality and comfort of the Homage T-shirts. Plus, their sizable collection of WWE shirts, but not only WWE shirts, but all the other cool T-shirts and stuff they have at homage.com as well. Basically, they'll become your favorite new brand for T-shirts. Also, if you go over there and get a T-shirt, like a 1-2-3 Kid T-shirt, or one of the other ones that Nick and I recently got, like Bash at the Beach logo, use code PWUnlimited15 at checkout to get 15% off of your purchase. Also, use our link in the description. Go to pwunlimited.co/homage to support us when going over there. But remember, the big thing, PWUnlimited15 at checkout to get 15% off your next purchase at homage.com.
I'm looking it up right now. You inspired me already. I like vintage shirts.
So as we wrap things up, just quick little finish this out because we're going long here. CM Punk, what was your reaction when he showed up on Rampage, even though we all knew it was coming?
So
did you cry like some of those people? I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't cry for Punk, but I actually cried a little for Becky.
You just reminded me. I found in my closet my CM Punk shirt that I bought like 10 years ago. You know, the original white one with WWE.
The white one, okay.
The best in the world one. The one
I've got an old yellow one. I don't even remember what's on it, but I got an old yellow Punk shirt.
Okay, so I because you know with Pro Wrestling Tees, they're now they have the current design of the CM Punk shirt, but anyone who sees it, obviously it's a play off of his shirt from 10 years ago when he came back and was WWE champion. So that white, I have that one.
Hey, Young Bucks, why are you throwing shade at WWE for John Cena's Super Mario shirt, saying they copied you when you copied Super Mario first? Anyways, and then you copied them with the Punk design. Anyways, go for it.
But so I have that. I was like, I think I bought that at Hot Topic like 10 years ago because I just saw it at the store and bought it. So I still have it. It's in pretty good condition. I didn't wear it that often.
I remember back in the day, that's where I got my CM Punk shirt. They were on sale at Walmart.
That's the power of WWE, man. They can reach their distribution all over the world. So, no, but for me, okay, because like I said earlier at the top of the show, I was in Las Vegas, and so I did the press junket. And I told you off the air privately, just the crazy day I had, my SD card not reading. I had to go to Best Buy, buy a new one, take an Uber back and forth. It was a wild afternoon. As soon as I got back to my hotel room, I just turned on my phone, or my phone was all around, but I turned on, my Xfinity app and, was watching the East Coast feed for Rampage. And I was waiting, and I thought they just did a beautiful job of introducing him. They kept it simple because I think a lot of people were like, okay, we know he's coming, but how are they going to debut him? How are you going to bring this guy back who's been gone for 7.5 years?
The original plan was to be what they did last night and have Tony Schiavone introduce him. But I think having him just come out was the better plan.
Exactly. They kept it simple because, people were like, oh, is he going to interrupt someone else? Or is a heel going to come out to Cult of Personality and then he comes in afterwards and interrupts them like, hey, what are you doing using my song?
That would have been funny, but...
It would have been funny, but then you wouldn't get that same pop. Because
exactly.
If he would have done like a heel coming out to his song, everyone would explode and give that pop for them. And then when they see someone impersonating him or...
you're right.
Everyone would be like, oh, and then CM Punk actually does show up. They'd be like, oh, and when they
wouldn't be as big.
Wouldn't be as big. So the way they did it was simple. Start the show. They updated his intro as when WWE they had the little
they added the static. They did their
They had
version of the static because
their
most
version of
people,
the static.
most people don't know that's not in the original song. They think that's part of the original song.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. It's so I work at 107.7 The Bone, rock station in San Francisco. So yeah, Cult of Personality is on our playlist on the regular.
Mhm.
And this past Monday, it came on like at 10:15 or whatever it was, and I cranked it up. I was in one of the studios. I cranked it up. I was like, yeah, CM Punk. But that's the thing. Yeah, Living Color. Living Color's original, version of that
Mhm.
song, they have their own little intro to it.
Yeah.
It's a spoken word of I'm totally blanking on it. But yeah, the little static thing, that's something, WWE had and AEW just added their version of it. So yeah, I think so yeah, for anyone out there, yeah, that static that's added just for CM Punk's intro. But when he came out, God, it just the goosebumps. I was, so
Mhm.
happy with emotion. He is one of my favorite guys post Attitude Era
Right.
as far as
Same.
wrestling
Same.
goes. I mean, I'm a huge fan of him. I remember seeing him with WWE when he was doing the Straight Edge Society. He's doing a house show at the Cow Palace in San Francisco, and the crowd was booing him and throwing. So I have never seen someone get that much heat in a house show.
Wow.
This is a house show. It's not even
Right.
televised, and people were booing him and stuff. And he fed off the crowd. It was so great. But yeah, I've been a big fan of his for years. But anyway, see him come out at AEW. It was like it felt like no time has passed. It was like finally, it felt like back in 2014, where was the last time I saw him. He cut a very emotional promo. My only thing was, when he said, "I left pro wrestling in 2005 and I'm back now."
Yeah.
That was like, I mean, listen, I know he's
So
up.
I said this on my show. I want to get your opinion of this. He said,
Okay.
I left wrestling back in 2005. I've rejoined pro wrestling in 2021. So everyone goes, well, yeah, because he left for sports entertainment. But here's my question. If CM Punk would have stayed in Ring of Honor all these years and maybe worked Impact, maybe worked New Japan, but never gone to WWE, would last Friday have happened with that reaction?
No.
Okay. You're on. Okay. We're thinking the same way. Because some people are like, oh, you're wrong about that. He would have got himself out. No. He became because to their credit, and a lot of people like to say that they didn't, they used him very well when he was WWE champion for over 400 days.
Yeah. That's the thing is like, listen, I know he, has his issues with WWE. I know.
Rightfully so, because their doctors fucked him over.
Yeah, I know the whole doctor situation, the infection, the Z-Pack, suing them. The doctor sued him, I should say. He got fired on his wedding day. The FedEx.
I still think that's more of a coincidence, but we'll never know.
Yeah. Listen, and if we were in his shoes, I'm sure we would all be very upset at that company to this day. I understand his emotions and his feelings. He has every right to feel that way. But you cannot argue, if it wasn't for WWE, he would not have the name recognition, the value, the brand of CM Punk where it is.
Yeah.
It's you do gotta give them credit. And that's going back earlier what I said with Pete Dunne and Shinsuke Nakamura. Like sometimes it's worth staying in WWE because with their huge appeal to the masses, that's extra value for yourself.
Exactly.
And you reach a larger audience that you couldn't reach with any other promotion. So with CM Punk, yeah, sure. If he just stayed in Ring of Honor and he could have been this amazing like indie darling or someone that we love. Like he didn't go to the sell out to the big brand or whatever. But that's the thing. He would not get that type of reaction without his time in WWE. No. And keep in mind, yeah, you said he was, champion for over 400 whatever days it was, and WWE did make him a champion. Like he achieved
the champion when I'm trying to think about it. That was that
the brand split.
That was
gone,
after.
Right?
That was after they even got rid of the world title. I want to say.
Yeah. So I'm just saying he achieved the ultimate accomplishment, the title, WWE Championship of lineage. That is like the number one title to this day. He was champion of that. No one can take that away from him. And that when you win that increases your stock value for life. And so that was my one little thing. And listen, I get it. People said, well, in WWE, he used to take shots all the time at WWE, and he was the voice of the voiceless. And so he would vent even when he was with the company of things that were wrong with the company at the time. I get that, but it's like, just for the sake of this conversation, it's like he would not be getting that crowd reaction. He would not be getting probably a great contract deal from AEW without his time in WWE. So to a certain extent, you do gotta just respect what WWE did for his quality of life and what, his appeal to the masses. So that was my one little thing. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
no, WWE sees himself as sports entertainment. It's still wrestling
Yeah, he's
overall.
a
And
technically 2-time champion at 434 days.
it was just 2-time champion. That was all. Or-
Yeah, because he
was world champion, right, on SmackDown, right, from Jeff Hardy.
Yes, he did have the World Heavyweight Championship
and ECW champion.
He won all their top belts.
So he's a Grand Slam champion. Yeah.
I can look that. I can check.
Do you have Intercontinental? So anyway, I'm just saying, like, I saw that, and it's like, and listen, I know WWE is not perfect, but in this situation, I will defend them a little bit and be like, listen, without WWE Punk, you would not have the success or the name recognition without them. That was my one little thing. Everything else I love about that promo, and him kind of apologizing to the fans, and he's sorry if he walked away when everyone was upset that they still wanted to see him on the regular basis. But he's trying to explain himself, and I'm sure he'll explain himself more over time. And it's great. He's like much more active on Instagram and social media.
Right.
So it's great that we're getting more of him now. And it's like people have missed him so much. But it was a very heartfelt promo, and I think it was kind of cool that he was making it up as he goes. And so I'm very happy that he's back, and I think it's great for the business overall if that helps motivate WWE, and that creates more of a wrestling war between two promotions. It takes things to the next level. But casual fans in the last week have been talking to me about how cool is seeing CM Punk back. People who maybe dipped away from watching on a regular basis, they're now watching again, or at least talking about it. So if it's going to be great overall, and if it lifts up all the promotions as a whole, then it's a win-win for us, the fans. That's what matters at the end of the day. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of CM Punk. I can't wait to see what he does next, and his matches, the fantasy book, and if he sounds like he's going to do a lot of things for AEW, like probably commentary. I mean, who knows what he's going to do? But
I mean, as of right now, he's on the active roster for wrestling. He's going to wrestle Darby at the pay-per-view, and that's the other thing. They've been very coy and quiet on his status as far as, okay, he's going to wrestle Darby, but then what? How many matches a year is he willing to do? Does he want to set a specific number, say 6 matches, 7 matches? I know with Bryan Danielson, who's coming in, he's going to want that. I only want X amount of matches. Yeah. He's going to be the kind of guy that says, I'm going to work for you, but I want this schedule and I'm going to do this. Is Punk the same way? Is Punk going to say, I'll give you 10 matches. I'll give you 12 matches once a month.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm excited. It just
same here. Oh yeah.
As his fans, I like I said, I miss CM Punk. I've been a big fan of his. To see him back, I'm very happy. And I'm curious to see what other kind of promos he's going to cut. Are we going to get some more pipe bombs now? Some fresh, updated versions of his perspective of the pro wrestling landscape? And I'm excited for all of it. And
same.
And I'm curious because in WWE, like I said, he would vent and and talk about things that were on his mind, loosely shooting on things. Especially remember that contract signed between him and John Cena, legendary. Back and forth. I know he's been very praising the locker room, the current roster. I wonder, will he eventually start opening up and calling out people on the roster as well? Like, will he get to that point? So we'll wait and see what happens. It's going to be interesting. So I'm waiting for it all. But like I said, I was in my hotel room last Friday watching on my phone. I was just super happy and excited. And yeah, I've been very happy still. And I cannot wait to see
what comes here. Next. I've loved seeing it. I think it's great. He got a great reaction from the crowd. Unfortunately, when I watched it live, I used the TNT app, and for some reason, the audio was turned down on that app, so it didn't sound as big. But then when I went and watched it back on YouTube, I was like, oh, yeah, that's bigger than – that's what I expected. It didn't sound it because I can even tell that commentary was turned down on the TNT app. So, but regardless, I thought it was great. The promo he cut was really cool. He paid for all that ice cream for all them people, which somebody did the math and thinks that it was like 75 grand.
Wow. Oh my God.
And according to that local ice cream company out of Chicago, he went to them 2 years ago and said, hey, how can we create our own little ice cream thing and brand it with my branding and stuff? That's a 2 years in the making thing.
That's great. And let me ask you this. Okay, from the T-shirt. So I want to get a T-shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees. Now, he had the white shirt and the similar logo, like I said, from the WWE design. Now, it has like the black collar and around the sleeves. Now, on Pro Wrestling Tees, it's just all white. Now, is there a difference? Like the one with the black, collar, that one, I think it says I was there and it has like a date. So I'm guessing maybe that's only for sold inside the arena.
Maybe.
And then like the more plain one, all white one.
I haven't even looked up the shirt, so I didn't even know.
So that was like a little detail I noticed because I was like, I want the one that he's wearing, but then I realized he has a date on his, and
it had to have been just for because the one on their website has no trimming, and it's just the front with the lightning bolts in the hands and stuff. Very reminiscent of, I mean, technically it's reminiscent of the WWE shirt, but then you know what everyone's gonna say? They didn't copy the WWE shirt. That's like the Chicago logo with the stars and stuff, because that's what people always try to say. With
I'll
CM
still
Punk
get
stuff.
that one.
Yeah. I mean, I probably won't order it off of Pro Wrestling Tees, but maybe if it's at Hot Topic in a month, I'll go grab it there.
For me, just because I like to save money, I'll just wait until I know a lot of people who are buying it. I'll wait till they do, like a big 20% off week. They'll probably have a big sale next weekend, an all-out sale.
All out. Well, like I said, I'll wait till it comes to Hot Topic. Don't have to wait for shipping or any of that. But
yeah.
Because they got a good number of AEW shirts in my local Hot Topic. So
it's Hot Topics are around the country, so that's a great place to have their shirts available.
And it's not even AEW anymore. They've got to deal with Pro Wrestling Tees, because I saw a Danhausen shirt in Hot Topic.
Very nice, very easy.
So, but we've gone way longer than we previously expected we were going to go. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining us here on Pro Wrestling Unlimited. I guess we're going to call this the Pro Wrestling Unlimited podcast for now. I don't know. Maybe we'll come up with some clever branding for whatever this is going to be. But yeah, this was really, really fun. We talked about a number of topics. But again, you got in the click. Where can they find that, and where can they find you?
Well, first off, thank you, Tim, for having me on again. I really appreciate it. So if anyone wants to follow me personally, if you use Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram, as you see down below, it was at Baby Huey 83. But if you want to follow my wrestling podcast, In the Click, KLIQ, at In the Click on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts at. Please listen to all my recent interviews from SummerSlam weekend. A lot of good stuff there. Thank you, Tim, for helping edit all those videos as well. You can check those out. I do want to give a disclaimer. I apologize if some of them are a little out of focus. Like I said earlier, I was by myself, so I would hit record and then run back in front of the camera and try to do the interview, and I cannot see the camera going out of focus a little bit, but you can squint your eyes a little bit. You can more or less see who I'm talking to, but it's still a lot of fun. The audio's great, so you can listen to that as well. So thank you, WWE, for the generous hospitality this last weekend in Las Vegas for SummerSlam. But that was a reminder, Tim, you got to come with me on these trips now. but please follow along, subscribe, rate, comment, share the podcast. That helps out so much. You click the link in our bio on social media. You can get our T-shirts over on, I believe it's Teespring. I know they recently kind of changed their name, but it was Teespring originally. But but thank you guys for all the continuous support. Appreciate it. And looking forward to doing this more on the regular, man, with you, Tim. It's good stuff. Sounds man. Good. I after this weekend, it really just motivated me. I love doing this and love entertaining you guys and providing great content. So thank you.
Awesome. But with that, guys, he said you can find him over there on social media. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. You can find us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Find us on Twitter at PWUnlimited, and support us on Patreon, patreon.com/PWUnlimited. So with that, guys, we'll see you later. Have a good one.